Hey, what's up, fam? And welcome back again to Recap Kickback. It's me, your host, Chappell, and I am back again to talk to you about another movie. We're back in our Marvel bag to talk about one of the biggest smash hits of the year so far, and probably one of the biggest of the year by the time the end of the year rolls around. It's Spider-Man Brand New Day. And with me to talk about this movie that just dropped last week, it is Jason Reed. Welcome back, Jason.
Chappell, thanks for having me on again. As you know, I always love to come and kick it with a recap kickback and talk about little comics, talk about a little nerdity. So happy to be here to chop it up with you.
Yep, I always go to the same well. Jason, Sasha, Anthony, my Marvel people, and I watched this. I almost had Isaiah on because Isaiah has some hot takes,
some hot stinky takes sometimes.
right? And so I almost reached out to Isaiah too just to spice it up. But no, I really wanted to talk to you about this because it's one of the hottest movies out. Everybody's discussing it, and who will we be tonight? Do a little recap. And so here we're going to talk about broad strokes of the movie, what we liked, the kind of overview of what it is, and then for all the people who are spoiler averse, you can tap out while me and Jason get into the spoilers. How does that sound, Jason?
Sounds great. Love it.
All right. So, Jason, when did you go see Spider-Man Brand New Day? Because it's only been out, 4 days, 5?
Yeah, I saw it on Friday. And let me just say, getting tickets was an interesting feat. Because it's just like, okay, me and my wife were talking about it. It's like, okay, yeah, we're busy right now. Things are happening. I don't know when we can go. I was worried I wasn't going to be able to go this weekend, but we worked it out. All right, let's get tickets. All right. Well, it doesn't look like everything's sold out. Let's click on some of these showtimes, some of these listings. Almost everything is sold out except for the very front row. So it's like, all right, we were able to get tickets to like a 5:45 show on Friday. This was like Thursday when we bought the tickets. We were foolishly. We were like, Thursday night, let's do it, right? Let's get a date night in, right? And I was like, oh yeah, nothing. And just to see the listings for like AMC, because we were an AMC family here, AMC A-list, what's up? So we look at the show times. It's like, okay, every single movie theater is Spider-Man. You have like 2 showings of the Odyssey, 2 showings of Despicable Me, whatever. It's just 2 showings of everything else, and everything else is Spider-Man, like wall to wall Spider-Man. And then at that, nothing was there on Thursday. I was like, okay, well, that's cooked, that's done. And so let's look on Friday. Luckily, we were able to find 3 seats in a row, like for me, my wife, and my daughter. It's like, all right, cool, got it. We barely were able to get it, so we go there. Of course, the theater is packed. I parked like 3 parking lots away from the movie theater. Had to trek it on foot from like a mile away. We get there, get seated. Yeah, that was Friday night. Friday like 5:45ish, right before the rush of people getting off of work. I think probably so. Able to see it on Friday, thankfully.
Okay, well, yeah, I didn't realize because I'm not a movie theater person. I've talked about that a little bit. I go to sleep in the movie theater. It's just don't make it in the long movies no more.
I'm like, yeah, you pay almost $30 a month to this movie theater company to get 4 movies in a week that you never see, and then when you finally get here, or 4 movies a month, sorry, not a week, and when you finally get here, you fall asleep in the theater almost immediately. I was like, you paid $50 for this popcorn and soda that you're almost going to let go to. You have to make me eat the whole thing. Yeah, so my wife was like that as well.
Yeah, no, I pay for the peace and of the dark room where, I don't have to talk to anybody. I can just sit in there. If it might be the best movie in the world, but if I'm at the movie theater, I'm probably going to fall asleep on it. So I hadn't really been looking at ticket sales and all that kind of stuff. But I live in a small town, and I know that I normally don't have an issue. If I ever just decide to go to the movies, it's not that hard to me. Just be like, all right, whatever, I'll go. It's not that there can't be that many people there. I look up,
why, which was the thing. I was like, oh, this is for real. Like, this is like,
right.
This ain't hype. Usually when it's like, oh, get your pre-sale tickets now. I'm like, I don't need to get a pre-sale. I have no problem getting tickets. At the time, it's like, oh no, I should have got the pre-sale tickets because this is outrageous.
Oh, same. I went to online and I was looking. I said, oh, the theater I normally go to is packed. I have never experienced this because when I go to see movies in the past, like for instance, we went and saw oh man, the movie with Vivica Fox and Sterling K. Brown recently. I can't think of the name of it. We covered it on the podcast.
Mama something?
Yeah, that movie. I went to go see it like the day it dropped. There was 3 of us in the movie theater. There were 3. I went to see I Love Boosters like a week later. 7 people, maybe 8, and so I'm thinking, whew, this is going to be a piece of cake. I cannot find a seat for this movie at that theater. But luckily for us, we have a less reputable theater in town that I know is going to have seats. And I went to that one the night before it dropped. So the midnight showing, I guess technically, I just like woke up, was like, I guess I'll go watch it.
That's another thing. Let me like old man gripe for a second.
Please.
Used to be back in the day, you would have one, maybe two showings Thursday night of like, you can go there at 8 p.m. or midnight if you like. Like, lucky you got this 8 p.m. showing, because sometimes it just be a midnight showing. And that would be just like the event for you and your friends. Like, go there. You have to go to the theater. There was no assigned seats. Okay. Bear with me. It's my old man gripe. There would be no assigned seats. You would just get it. You would get there at like 6 o'clock for like a midnight show. And if it was an Avengers, forget about it. You get there at 6 o'clock p.m., get your ticket, stand 5 feet away from the theater door, and just wait your ass there. Like, you'll get there at midnight because no one else is coming in, because whatever is shown before, no one cares about. So you're sitting there at 6 p.m. waiting 6 hours to get it. They've taken all the fun out of it. Everything's now assigned seats. You can get there 5 minutes before the show starts. They've taken all the fun out of it. So that's just an interesting part of like my movie going journey. I'm just like, way it used to be.
Yeah, you're not wrong, because I think our showing there was a 10 o'clock showing. Mind you, it was Thursday. So Big Brother had just gone off maybe like an hour or something before, and maybe not even that. And so I took a nap, woke up, 10 o'clock showing. It's 10 now. I guess I can make it. And so
previews are a hearty 30 to 45 minutes nowadays. I can skip those.
Literally, I left the house at 10 and made a stop. Went and visited one of my cousins, and then we decided, let's just go to the 1040 showing, because of course there's a 1040 showing as well. Yeah. So went to the 1040 showing. We left the house at 1040, got there at walked in and still caught three different trailers and Nicole Kidman doing her whole little thing. So yeah. So it's not like it used to be.
No, because and they say this movie came out on July 31st. It came out on July 30th, because that Thursday there was a whole day of showings. It wasn't just one or two showings. It was an all day. Why don't you just say it came out July 30th? Because that's the truth.
Right, exactly. And so the movie, of course, is highly anticipated. This is the fourth movie in that Spider-Man world. I guess the last one we saw was the one where our Peter was going through, Doctor Strange is a big deal in that one. And so this is the aftermath of those events. And I just didn't know it was so, I won't say like acclaimed, but I really didn't understand the Spider-Man hype was going to be this big, because to me, the last couple of them, they've been fine, but I don't know if it's just, I don't know. You're the Marvel expert here. You tell me, why was this such a big release date, or for a release weekend for Spider-Man this time around?
I think people are clamoring for old school MCU. And I think Spider-Man represents that. The Spider-Man movies have all been like very, very well received. It is a known commodity, a known property. Unlike the recent past of the MCU, where you're getting, the Thunderbolts, you're getting Black Cap, so you don't really know what you're getting. I think with Spider-Man, people are very comfortable knowing what they're getting. And I think also the fact that there was already so many stacked cameos promised here, that people are just like, oh, this is great. I really want to see this. I really want to see this very well-known property. Tom Holland and Zendaya are hot tickets right now, just in popular culture. I think all that together is what kind of got you the anticipation that you're seeing with this.
No, that's a very good point, especially about the stacked cast here, because half of this cast is in the Odyssey. I believe John Bernthal, exactly. John Bernthal, Zendaya, Tom Holland. They're big names. And so you say, okay, these are our headliners, basically. There's some rumors floating around about Sadie Sink and what she could be adding to the mix. I remember when the news about Tremel Tillman dropped, saying that he was going to be in it. And so I guess we all had eyes on it, and the numbers reflected. This is on track to potentially pass Endgame. I think it's the third highest grossing Spider-Man film, but the fourth highest grossing film of 2026 so far. And it's had the second biggest opening weekend of all time.
Yeah. I mean, it just goes to show what some very good press will do for you, and some very good. I mean, as you said, Sadie Sink here in the worst kept secret of a role that's ever really kind of been, because it's the promise of the start of something. I don't know if you want to get into who she is, but it's the promise of the start of a new franchise, of a new era for Marvel. So I think that also is a reason why people are clamoring to see this, because it's like, how is the MCU going to start this new thing that they're going to get into? What is the introduction going to be like? And that in and of itself is a very interesting thing to get into. But I think that's also a reason for people to be like, well, let's see how this goes. Let's see what's up. I think a lot of it is morbid curiosity of like, is this going to be good? Is this going to be worth our time?
Right. Because you're right. If they miss on this one, I think that everything else kind of crumbles after it, right? Because you could say the things that they experimented with didn't do so well, or weren't, as critically acclaimed, or people aren't really just talking about them like that. Like Fantastic Four, it was good.
It was like, that's the best you can say for recent MCUs. Like, it was good. It was serviceable. Fantastic Four, I left Fantastic Four just kind of being like, it was a movie. Like, I don't know if I'll remember it a month from now, but it was a movie. But as a introduction of the Marvel's first family, it was supposed to be this on this high pedestal. It was just like, it underwhelmed. I think that's a common like word for the recent MCU, underwhelming. I was like, you came in with so many high expectations, and they're just kind of like, okay, it happened. I think it's hard to really dazzle in today's superhero landscape, right? Because it's tough to really get anything over the hype that's come before. I mean, Endgame kind of ruined everything for everybody, because it's like, how are you ever going to get to that pinnacle again?
Right. And you pointed out that people are clamoring for that old school MCU vibe, just the way it was back way back in the day when the Captain America movies were dropping, and the Thor movies, and then you finally make it to the Black Panther and Spider-Man. You're like, oh my God, everything was so highly anticipated. Now we're on the 4th Spider-Man movie. So you're like, is it as highly anticipated as it was? I think for this was, like you said, a callback to those old days. You're like, okay, this experimental stuff y'all been doing, maybe that's fine. But Spider-Man, we know Spider-Man works. If you can't mess this up. And so people showed up, and I've been seeing a lot of great reviews. But Jason, what was your overall thoughts about the movie?
Yeah. Ooh, I feel like I'm going to come off as Isaiah here. It has some maybe a hot take.
Ooh.
I thought it was good. I thought it was very good.
Okay.
I don't know if I'd say it was great. I had some issues, I had some problems. Now, the things that are tried and true stay tried and true. Tom Holland, Zendaya, great performances. The fact that we were talking about clamoring for old school MCU, which was a lot of universe building, a lot of weaving stories, a lot of weaving this universe together. I think they did a great job of that with the cameos they brought in, with the Punisher, aka Frank Castle, the Hulk, and another cameo we'll get into in the spoiler section that was unexpected. That was a unspoiled cameo for me, which I was greatly appreciative of. I think the fact that they brought all those things in and kind of made Spider-Man feel more part of the universe worked, and also had a problem with a little bit of it. Whereas like they're showing, not telling things of like, oh, Peter Parker, aka Spider-Man, knows this person. How? They kind of tell us. It was like, okay, like, but I didn't see that. So like, I know I'm supposed to feel the connection. And luckily with the Peter Parker, aka Spider-Man and Punisher connection, that felt good. And I think only because John Bernthal and Tom Holland have this like chemistry already from like, these two have been friends for years. Come to find out, they both helped each other with their audition tapes for the MCU. Like they've been friends for years. So their chemistry and their camaraderie felt real and felt lived in. Now you can also say the Punisher we're used to from John Bernthal from the Netflix and Disney Plus series this was very much watered down from that. We're used to an ultra violent, ultra traumatic Frank Castle. And now he's kind of being served up as this kind of like wisecracking uncle of like, oh, I don't take no crap from nobody, blah, blah, blah. So it's like your miles will vary in that. But I thought they did a good job of kind of Disneyfying him a little bit, bringing him down from his R-rated, pedestal to like a more PG-13 version. I thought that worked. I thought the Hulk stuff worked pretty well. but I also kind of felt like there were three storylines going here, and I felt like one storyline in particular was a little incomplete and was not really needed. I would say the Peter Parker finding his inner spider storyline didn't work for me, like, at all.
I definitely have some thoughts about that, and I'll save that for the spoiler section as well, because I too have some issues with that storyline. But I agree with you about, first of all, the actors and the chemistry that they have. Like you point out, John Bernthal and Tom are good together. But also, I don't really think you can beat Tom and Zendaya on TV together anymore, in the movie together anymore. You know, I know Zendaya has her critics when it comes to playing MJ. You know, the people who are like, but this lady is MJ to me now. I mean, as far as I'm concerned,
I've just come to accept that Zendaya is an MJ. She's not the MJ, but the Zendaya MJ is a great MJ. Do not get it twisted. But she is not the MJ that the Spider-Man lore gives you. The Spider-Man lore from comics is that person. This MJ is not that MJ at all. She's more of a Gwen Stacy than an MJ, but she's the MJ that we have, and the MJ that we have is great. I love Zendaya as MJ, as this version of an MJ. Like I said, MJ, not the MJ. So once you get past that, like, I think they did a disservice by naming her MJ, because that comes with a whole slew of connotations, of thoughts or reputations. I think she should have been Gwen Stacy. Honestly, I don't think she should have been MJ, because she's already having to live up to this reputation of Mary Jane, which I forgot what the MJ stands for in this universe. It's not even Mary Jane in this universe.
It's Michelle Jones.
Something. Yeah, something like that. So the fact that they did that, I feel like kind of puts Zendaya in a kind of a deficit to begin with. But for my money, this MJ is a great MJ. I love it.
Yeah, I have no complaints. None. When it comes to the two of them on screen, the way she just has embodied whatever this character is, I love it. I do. And so this to me was a very much a more emotional kind of, like an emotionally deep version of Spider-Man that we haven't really seen in these past few seasons. Or past few movies. I think the last one tried to go there a little bit, with some big deaths and with all the overlap between the different multiverses, Spider-Mans and all that. But here, I really feel like they really honed in on those emotional moments between MJ and Spider-Man, or Tom and Zendaya. They let those moments really just linger. There was definitely moments where he's pouring his heart out and she's looking at him like, I don't know you, and to me, they were gut-wrenching moments. It felt like he couldn't catch a break throughout the movie. And so by the time it's over and it's all the dust clears, I really did feel like a sense of relief. I felt a lot better about the MCU right now. And I am looking forward to what's coming next, because Comic-Con just passed. We've got some new MCU news. We've got some trailers and things of that nature. And so to me, it did work as something that is going to kind of prime us for Doomsday and everything else they have coming.
Yeah, I think it did a good job. Now, Tom Holland has not been announced for Doomsday, so I don't even know if he's going to be in this thing. But a lot of the weaving they did in this into making him, like, especially with one character that we won't get into till the spoiler section, maybe leads me to believe that he might have a role now that he knows some of the bigger players in the MCU. So I don't know. And the fact that we got that little tag at the very end, it's like, I don't know. Maybe we'll see. But yeah, I think it does a good job of making people excited for the MCU again by making it feel like a more cohesive universe. So I think that's been a big criticism of recent MCU. It doesn't feel like a cohesive universe. You used to have stories running throughout the different movies. You had people getting to know each other, and all the recent movies have kind of felt very insular, very kind of like in their own little bubble. This felt like a MCU movie of, like, we have cameos from several different properties of the MCU, and so it really feels as if this is part of a bigger ecosystem.
I 100% agree. I think that for me, a large reason why I've lost interest in the MCU as compared to what it used to be, is because the storylines do feel very insular, and I don't feel like I'm traveling through each of the movies to get to the next one, right? I don't feel like I'm leading to anything. Like, to me, Doomsday doesn't even feel like it had a decent build up. It feels like
not at all.
Yeah, it feels like it's just a thing that's happening.
Yeah, they're going to throw us into an X-Men world that we haven't really. I mean, we were looking for Deadpool and Wolverine to kind of give us that. And it kind of did, but then it kind of didn't, because I feel like this Doomsday we're going to get, these X-Men haven't felt lived in, haven't felt real. If they are the same X-Men from the Fox universe, we don't know what they've been up to, because Deadpool and Wolverine didn't really give us that. So we're going to get that, and we're just going to get this collection of heroes that have never worked together, have never seen each other. So it's going to take some time to be like, okay, like these people haven't met, which is going to feel weird. I feel like when we had the first Avengers, which is like just this crazy benchmark, it's just like, yeah, we had however many years of build up to this, where you're getting some of these characters that have crossed over, some of them haven't, but have gotten their own movies to make us feel like they've lived. This is a lived system here. We're going to see Shang-Chi in Doomsday. We haven't seen Shang-Chi in I don't know how many years. It's got to be at least 5 or 6 years. When does Shang-Chi come out? And that's the problem. We are going to get all these characters that we haven't. 2021, so it's been about 5 years since we've seen Shang-Chi, anything from Shang-Chi. And I think in the previous iterations of the MCU, we would have gotten Shang-Chi peppered in somewhere, right? We would have gotten a check-in on Shang-Chi and what he's doing. Same thing with all these other characters they're bringing together. We haven't seen Black Cap since Black Cat Brave New World? Yeah,
Brave New World.
Yeah, it was like, what's crazy? Brave New World, Brand New Day.
Brand New Day. Don't get me started.
So it's just like, yeah, we the fact that we haven't checked up on these people in years is going to be like, it makes you feel like I don't even remember where we were with this person last time we saw them. So that's the kind of current problem with new era Marvel, new era MCU, and the problem comes with the fact that they've expanded it so much. It's kind of gotten to be this like unwieldy type of behemoth, because it's not really possible to check up on all these people in this like huge world where you're just making blockbuster movies for these people. You can't do that once a month. I feel like I've always said I would have loved, because I enjoyed the What If TV series, really enjoyed it. I would have loved if they had like a What If type of structure to show us more adventures in the MCU that we're seeing, so that if you follow along with that, once these characters meet in Doomsday, you feel like they've lived a life together, because we're going to get these Avengers squads, new Avengers, and whatever Black Cap's Avengers are going to be. Let's not call him Black Cap. Captain America. He is Captain America, and
his Avengers are the actual Avengers. New Avengers are not the Avengers. Don't get me started. Exactly. Okay, I'm about to get mad.
And so once we see that, we're going to be like, I mean, I guess, but I don't even know who's on Captain America's squad. It's just like, once I see them, I'm like, okay, you kind of threw these people together, but I haven't seen them work together. Now we're just going to be seeing them kind of work together in this like big scale movie. We really should have gotten an Avengers before Doomsday at this point to number one, check in on some of these characters, and number two, let their relationships feel real, so that when we see this squad in Doomsday, we're like, oh yeah, that's my Avengers squad right there. So yeah, it's kind of messy, because the original Avengers lineup we saw them through Avengers Age of Ultron. Of course, they added new people as time went along, but it was that same core. Avengers Age of Ultron, we saw it in Captain America Civil War, which is kind of a Avengers 2.5 or whatever,
right?
And then Infinity War and Endgame. We've lived with those people. We haven't lived with these people. We've seen Shang-Chi once. We have seen Ant-Man however many years ago as well. So it's going to feel weird, right? But it's kind of a problem of its own making, because they've made the universe so big. They couldn't realistically do this, but they could have put an Avengers in there to make us feel like we've seen these people in the last 5 years.
Because Spider-Man is my avatar now. Like he is my rooting interest, right? Because I now know what he's up to. I know kind of where he is, and I know the people that he's interacted with recently, and so I'm definitely looking for him to be in Doomsday. But for the people who have not seen Spider-Man Brand New Day, Jason, give us your professional recommendation. Yes, no, good, Go see it. Must see TV. Let us know what you think, and then we'll get into the movie plot and the spoilers.
Yes, go see it. Of course, I have my qualms with it, but at the end of the brand new day, I feel like it's a very good movie that you should go see because it gives you all the things that you want. It gives you that emotional weight with Tom Holland. It gives you the great action you've been missing out on, or not been missing out on. The action's been decent in the MCU. It gives you great action, great character moments, great cameos. So for all that, yes, I have my qualms with it, which kind of prevents it from me giving it like a 5-star rating, but it's still very, very good.
Yeah, I strongly recommend this as well, especially if you've been feeling like, okay, maybe the MCU is losing my attention. I think this will bring it back to where, okay, I can focus on these people because you do know the characters that are here, got name recognition. There's not a ton going on. Like you said, there's probably like three plots and one, they're not the biggest plots at all. It's just like, okay, I can follow this. And so for me, definitely go check it out. And then come back to this podcast and then check out Jason and I talking about the rest of the movie because we're about to get into the spoilers and, our favorite parts, things that we like, things that we didn't like, and things we have questions about right now. So, Jason, now that I've given the spoiler warning, again, if you were here, then you want to hear these spoilers. Let's talk. I was on some site, maybe Blue Sky. I'm not on Twitter anymore like that. And I saw somebody say, damn, it's crazy that Steve Lacy spoiled Spider-Man. And I said, well, what did musician recording star Steve Lacy do to spoil Spider-Man? So I went to go look. Mind you, this is the day or two before it drops. But again, I told you I wasn't really hyped for it. So I wasn't just avoiding spoilers. I just wanted to see what he said. And so they go to him on the red carpet. I guess this is at the premiere, and the screening because he did some music for the soundtrack. So I guess he got to go to the screening. He's on the red carpet. And they asked him, what's your favorite part of the movie? And this man says, "Oh my God, yeah, I think it must have been Jean Grey. Jean Grey, but like as a villain, I just wasn't expecting that." And that's why, although Jean Grey was the least secret of all time. The fact that she was a villain, Steve Lacy spoiled that maybe 24 hours before the movie was released to everybody else.
I mean, I don't think it's like that bad because I think if you look at the trailer and you see who the mysterious villain is, and you put it together as Jean Grey, obviously she's doing some villainous things. But I think coming into this, like strongly suspecting that Sadie Sink was Jean Grey is kind of like, okay, she may be doing like mildly villainous things, but it's probably for a good cause. It's probably for this or that. And it kind of was. Now, the Jean Grey all is a little sticky because it's like, okay, yes, she is pretty villainous in this movie. She kills a couple people, I think. Definitely the guy that she made walk out into the street and get hit by a taxi. I was like,
we didn't get no updates on him.
Yeah, it's like, is he just in critical condition or is he dead? I feel like he might be dead. And just some other things she did in the movie, like crashing cop cars, crashing tanks, whatever. It's like, I'm pretty sure Jean Grey killed a few people in this movie. So I think that's an interesting take to be like Jean Grey, the like darling of the X-Men, the like in most iterations, this very wholesome, sweet character is now this kind of like surly, bent on revenge teenager is an interesting way to bring Jean Grey and the X-Men into this universe. It was very like unexpected. I was like, oh, that's different. Do I like it? I'm not sure yet. Like, I feel like I need to watch it again to be like, is this my Jean Grey? And like, again, is this an MJ or is this the MJ? Is this a Jean Grey or is this the Jean Grey? So like, I feel like this might not be the Jean Grey that you're used to, but who knows what you're going to feel like by the time X-Men comes around. Now, something that was interesting was that I think was it Thursday night or Friday, sometime before I saw the movie, they revealed that Samara Weaving is going to play Emma Frost in the X-Men. Like, this is official casting. So in my mind, I was like, ooh. I was like, because I thought, is this Marvel tricking us? Is this not really Jean Grey? Is this Emma Frost inhabiting Jean Grey's body to do bad things? Or maybe just some random redhead teenage girl's body to do random things, making us think it's Jean Grey, but it's not really Jean Grey. And so throughout half the movie, I was like, maybe this is Emma Frost. And I felt like, why would you announce that casting unless that was what ended up happening. I was like, because they didn't usually announce casting the first official casting for X-Men for no reason. So I was like, maybe this is Emma Frost. Like they're making us think it's Jean Grey. It's like, oh no, it's Jean Grey. It's definitely Jean Grey. So that was a very interesting plot detail. Now, was she warranted? I don't think she's warranted in killing that innocent guy.
The man in front of that car, yeah.
I don't think that was warranted. Did she have a legitimate gripe with damage control? Of course, yes. Did she need to take out innocents to do it? I don't think so. I was like, ooh, that's not a great look for the new Jean Grey, in my mind.
No, not a great look. I don't mind this depiction of Jean Grey, mostly because to me, Jean Grey has always been a little too wholesome. You know, because Jean is always like, they're always like, oh yeah, she's the most powerful one among us. Like, she's the one that knocks. You really can't mess with Jean. But then every time you see her, she's a little frail. You know, it's like, all right, like give Jean some teeth. I want to see her kind of be a little bit of a badass. And so we know the Phoenix will bring that out of her, but you know,
right. And I was like, I'm like, is it Phoenix? Is Phoenix inside her? We're gonna see a little fire in her eyes, maybe? It's like, no, yeah. She just Jean. Like, she's just mad like this because she Jean Grey, because she mad they killed her sister. It's like, okay, all right,
yeah. I appreciated the way that they reveal her powers as well, because to me, again, as somebody who knew going in knew Jean was the villain, I'm like, oh well, who is this jumping into everybody's bodies? Because that's normally not how Jean's powers are manifested or depicted in the media. And so the whole time I was like, okay, maybe, again, like you said, maybe it's not Jean Grey. Maybe this is somebody else. And then Jean is going to be like a little surprise at the end. Yeah, something in there. But no, I did appreciate that reveal, because I do think the way they showed her powers does throw you off the scent that is Jean, because that's not how you see Jean show up. You know, normally you see the telekinesis, or the stuff is floating around, that kind of thing.
Just you might even
you might even get her reading somebody's mind. But to be essentially body snatching from person to person throughout the movie, it was a good like villain kind of feel. I think that, we've seen movies literally do this before, where it's just so menacing, where you just don't know which way to turn, because anybody could be the bad guy. And throughout the movie, Jean is just getting stronger and stronger and stronger. Her powers are getting more powerful, because at first Spider-Man is the only one who is immune to these Jean powers,
which they don't really explain. I was just like,
Spidey sense.
I don't know. I was like, that's weird. And she's like, you're the only one that knows what I'm doing. I was like, I don't know. I feel like if I was on the street and I saw a bunch of people going, I'm like, there she is. There she go. That's everybody jerking around like that. That means they came in and she left. Like, you can just trace her. I was like, how can no one else can see that? Only Peter can see that. I see them jerking their bodies all around. Like, I know what she's doing. But yeah, I was like, they didn't really. That's what I mean by, like, some things were a little incomplete and not really explained. I feel like, I think some people might like the fact that things are vague and unexplained. Not me. Explain it to me. Finish out your thought, because and to kind of just jump around a little bit, the whole MJ and Ned, we don't know who he is, but do they know who he is type of thing by the end is just like, no, I need you to tell me. Do they know?
Tell me.
Or do they not know? Stop hinting. Stop making it feel like maybe they do, maybe they don't. I don't love that, because we're not going to see this story. We're not going to be able to pick up on this story thread for another 4 to 5 years, probably, until Spider-Man 5. You know what I mean?
Which is
like, crazy.
You're
leaving me in the lurch for this isn't like a TV season where we'll be back in 3 months to see the continuation follow up of this storyline. I have to wait another 4 or 5 years to see if they truly know who he is or not. Like, just tell me, please.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that one, because for one of the plot lines that we're following through is that Peter has erased everybody's memory of him. Nobody remembers him. They remember Spider-Man, but they don't remember Peter at all. He just is like he doesn't exist to these people. But to him, he still knows all of them. He remembers them. He's kind of stalking them on Instagram and TikTok, just keeping up with what they're doing, watching his friends go off to MIT. And he's just not, like, he's not able to be a part of it. It's like he's looking through a window. He wrote this letter to MJ because I guess in his mind, he's like, one day I'm going to give you this note. Very can't hardly wait, right? Like, I wrote this letter to you, and if I could just give it to you, it's going to prove to you that I love you, even though he knows, because he was a part of the spell, that she does not remember him. So I guess he thought
well,
he thought the letter and true love's kiss would break the spell. I don't really know what he was going through, but
he doesn't know. He has no idea what, like, because he didn't really get an instruction manual to this guide, to this spell. It's just like the Doctor Strange's like, this is the only way to fix everything for some reason. I don't know. I'm not going to explain to you. The only way I can fix it is if people just don't know who you are, Peter Parker. At the end of it, I was like, that's a little weird and convoluted, but okay, I guess. And it continued to be weird and convoluted throughout this movie of like, what triggers it, what doesn't trigger it, we don't know. And so, yeah, I mean, at the end of the last movie, the very end, you see Peter, like, he has this letter, he's going to give to MJ of like, boom, here you go. And just kind of wait, be like,
now what?
Hey, it's me.
Yeah,
it's
me.
And
You remember?
like, he feels like this is going to do it. So that's why he for whatever reason at the end decided not to give it to her and just like, nah, I'm going to let you live in your ignorance for a while. You live in your blissful ignorance and just spends the next what did you think of the montage of the 4 years that we've gotten? I did like the fact that we kind of in real time followed. This isn't like it was a year later. We followed kind of in real time because it's been about 4 or 5 years since we've seen Spider-Man in the movies. So like, what'd you think of the montage of what Spider-Man's been up to, how he's been living, the villains that he faced in this 4 years, and just kind of his reputation now in New York?
I'm very impressed. I want to know what his occupation is.
Exactly.
How does this man feed himself?
How does he feed himself? How does he buy all this expensive ass equipment? He's 3D printing shit. I'm just like, what are you doing to do this? And they had the perfect way to do it. They chose not to. He could be taking photographs for the Daily Bugle, for J. Jonah Jameson, who was already established in this world to be J.K. Simmons, who was the old J. Jonah Jameson. They had the perfect way. Now with the photographs and a quote unquote, I mean, now I have to be like a internet newspaper or whatever,
right?
With that, and I kept like, my old ass is like, how are you paying for this? Like, how are you funding?
That was the first thing I said. Who paying your bills, sir? Because the computer system is what got me right. He's got this new tech. We know that he used to use Tony's tech. Tony's long gone. He's not using Tony's Spidey suit anymore. He's got his own new cloth suit. And I was like, okay, you're pulling off a lot of tactics here that I just don't understand that you had the money to pay for. In my mind, what they should have done is have the detective hand him some cash, because at least that would show you that, okay, he's working for the cops, at least.
Yeah.
Because he does have a good working relationship. I mean, who's handing cash to somebody these days anyway? But I don't expect a nameless, faceless Peter Parker to have a cash app. Yeah. Like, what do y'all paying him under? So I just assumed, but like you said, Jason, there's a lot of, okay, just fill in the blanks left out for you. Yeah, just go with it.
Yeah, and I don't like just go with it. I'm not. That's not my thing. Like I want you to explain to me. Like, explain to me where this man gets his funds from, because this is unbelievable to me. Like, it might be my old ass. I'm just like, how are you doing this, sir? How are you running banks? Like, what are you doing? Like, how are you funding your? Are you doing like gig work? Like, what are you doing? I'd like to know how. Like, they went through the trouble of us showing him he's renting his own apartment. He's getting all this material. He's getting all this AI stuff. He's getting all this fancy electronic equipment. Where are you getting the funds? It could have easily been explained in like one moment of dialogue. He's doing this. And the fact they didn't give us that, I was like, ugh, I don't like that. I don't love that.
We gotta audit this man, because maybe he's stealing. Maybe he's stealing at that point.
Where you at? Yeah.
I think he's stealing.
Is he ripping off drug dealers? What is he doing?
Right. I mean, yeah, look, and I would appreciate that. Again, all you gotta do is say it. It doesn't matter to make sense. Just say it. And I'll be like, all right, that makes sense. Because you're right. Over these 4 years, we watch him age. And I thought, to me, that was one of the things that stood out, is that we watch him fighting these bad guys, and kind of building his reputation in the city. Everybody knows him. They're not shocked when they see Spider-Man. They're like, oh, it's Spider again. Okay, he's landing on people's cars. And like, Spidey, what you want me to do? You want me to help you? So he's doing that, building a reputation. But at the same time, he's getting older. By the end of the movie, he's definitely stretching. I was like, I know the feeling of you were in college and now you're not anymore. And somehow, the moment you cross the stage, your body just does a thing where it says, we don't move like that no more. And so it was fun to watch.
I really love those social media clips where it's like, when you were younger, they show them like jumping off of a big ledge or something. It's like now in my 30s and 40s, jumping off of a low curb, and you're like, you're dead. Like
dead.
You're smeared outside your body. Your body's crumpled on the floor. Like that's how Peter's feeling by the end of this movie. But I really liked, and I love the fact that they aged up these people, and I mean they did their best to age up Zendaya, which is like very, very hard. Like the fact they showed these like flashbacks and kind of like show again like in the real time, and the work they did to kind of like make sure we know these people have aged. The flashbacks Zendaya and the current day Zendaya, I was like, yeah, you can tell that she has grown up a little bit. She's aged from late high school, early college to now she's out of college. Like you can tell the difference. So I really enjoyed that aspect of it. I loved seeing, of course I just would have loved a whole movie of kind of very, very low stakes Spider-Man. Like what it would have been like for a day in the life of Spider-Man, where he's having to fight these different low level villains. Like they showed us Tombstone in this, which hated how they made Tombstone look. I hated that. It was so happy. I was like, what the hell? And I love the fact that they got what was the actor's name? I think
Crondon. That's Marvin Jones Marvin the Third.
Who was great as Tobias Whale in the Black Lightning series. Like he was just a standout series. And I love that they made him Tombstone here. Like it fits, it's great. But the costuming, the makeup was really terrible. It's like that looks terrible. And the fact that we got a 1 second look at Black Tarantula, at Boomerang, and at I think his name was Ramrod, which is like not a very well-known villain at all. I appreciated the cameos, the 1 second cameos, but I would have loved I would love just a day in the life of a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, what he's doing, what he's up to. But you're not going to get that. So I appreciated the little they gave us of like these like low-level villains, just to show that he is living a Spider-Man life. He is facing off against these villains, some of them very low-level villains, but the fact that they are there, I really appreciate they're showing us that in his 4 years, he has grown as Spider-Man. The people of New York love him. He is adored, which, could go either way, because if you have like if you, in the comics world, if you have a J. Jonah Jameson throwing shit on your name every
he's a menace.
Seconds, he's a menace, right? He's not trusted in New York. But the fact that he is loved in New York, and the fact that he has this great relationship with Jean DeWolf, who freaking loved the fact they put Jean DeWolf in here. She's kind of like a old school Spider-Man, like police person that he did have this type of relationship with. Love that it was Tina from The Bear. I was like,
yes,
I was gonna call him Jeff at any moment. I was like, I love that. I love that relationship they have, kind of like a Commissioner Gordon and Batman relationship. Like they are very close. She knows he is there for good. She works with him very closely. They have like this really friendly relationship. Love that aspect of it.
She's the only personal connection he's made in the last 4 years. And that's saying a lot, considering they're not even that close, but he has nobody. He's just kind of living a life trying to be married to his work. We know that he has some semblance of a friendship with the Punisher, aka Frank, and that they also just kind of pick up where they left off. Now, where they left off was Staten Island, and the rest of us were not privy to the things that happened, but he saved his life. And because of that, the Punisher is in the movie throughout. And they do kind of build like a partnership, and to the end ends up a friendship between the two of them. But I was not prepared for the Punisher cameo to turn into all of that, because he just shows up like, can I shoot it? And they're like, oh, Frank, not that again. Oh my God, we get into this all the time. It's like, oh, do we?
Mother boop. I was like, okay, yeah, that was funny. A way to make an R-rated Frank, a PG-13 Frank, is to cut out the F word. Like very cute. That's why I call it very cute. But yeah, I didn't know the level that the Punisher, how much he would be in this, nor did I expect a three-way fight between Punisher, Hulk, and Spider-Man. I was like, that's fan-freaking-tastic. Because what better way than to kind of illustrate the Punisher than to give him a way to just really shoot at things that won't cause death, right? It's like,
just let him shoot.
It's a great way to see who the Punisher is. He will shoot anything or anybody, but the fact that he's shooting against the Hulk, who can't be hurt, is like a great way to kind of give what the Punisher is without making him a homicidal killer, right?
Right, exactly. He had to shoot at somebody who wasn't going to die from it. I mean, he even shot at Peter at some point. So we'll talk about that too. I think, to me, the big conflict here being like Peter's like inner self is actually very interesting to me. So the movie takes us to a place where Peter is very stressed out. I think Jean is telling him, Jean the Wolf is telling him, hey, you need to de-stress. You know, you gotta get a personal life. You cannot just live like this, living for your work. And he's like, no, I can't do that. Even his computer system is telling him, like, have you tried de-stressing? You know, like everybody's telling him to relax a little bit, but he's not. And so he ends up waking up basically as, I won't say like physically half spider, but his spider hormones are taking over. His DNA is becoming more and more spidey. And so instead of the web shooters that we've seen him don before, he doesn't need them anymore because the web is coming out of his wrists, like the Spider-Man that many people have come to know. Then he also, his senses are very heightened. He can't even go outside good. His eyes keep doing the spider thing as well. And so he's doing all of this. And I thought, okay, eventually we have to come to a cure. We have to come to a solution for this. The solution was that he just needed to accept that his body was changing as a spider. Like he's like going through spider puberty, and eventually he just got used to it.
And the fact that this was triggered mostly by him seeing MJ and Ned again was like, okay, the I guess the trauma or the stress of that is what triggered. It's like, this is what triggered it. Like, there's not the fact that he lost his aunt in a very terrible way. Last movie didn't do it. This did it. The fact that he's seeing his friends move on without him, that's what put it over the edge. I was like, okay. And it kind of went in a very kind of expected way of like, oh, he just has to learn to accept his spider side. It was like, okay. Like it didn't really add anything to the movie for me. As a plot line, as a story beat, it didn't really do much. It finally gave him his like full-blown spider sense, which is like, which is cool, which is great. But I'm like, I just don't feel like it was necessary. I feel like if you had devoted that storyline into a different movie and made that a bigger plot line, because in the comics, it's a whole thing. It's like he turns out to be like the mystical totem of the spiders. And this whole like spider society, and this weird guy named Ezekiel comes and tries to help him learn his spider ways. If they had made that a whole plot line in another movie, fine. But I just feel like they didn't give it enough room in this movie. It didn't have enough room. That was the place is crowded. There's no place to really spread out and make the storyline sing. It just kind of felt like an afterthought of a storyline. It's like, okay, fine, but what did it really do? What did it really add? It's just the fact that he can do organic web shooters. He might be stronger now, but it didn't really do much for me in this movie. And I'm a very, if you couldn't tell, I'm a purist. I love the old-fashioned Spider-Man with the web shooters. Like the organic turning to a spider plotline of the comics, I hated so much, and this didn't really do much for me either. But I love the hard on his luck Peter Parker. And the fact that like by the end of No Way Home and last movie, they kind of promised us this, like, this is the traditional Peter. You no more gadgets from Tony Stark. No more high-tech help. He kind of gave himself some high-tech help, which is okay, fine. But I really was clamoring for this, like, down Peter Parker. He can't catch a break. He's broke. He can't make his rent. He can't do anything. He's just the Parker luck, as is termed in the comic books. Like, this guy just cannot catch a break. But this guy catches all the breaks. He catches tons of breaks. He's for some reason, some way financing this life where he can make high tech gadgets. We don't know, but it's just like we never really see him struggling to make rent. So that part of it wasn't really included or added. So for me, the whole like I'm a spider now is like, okay, didn't really do much for me.
I appreciate the I'm a spider now moment because I think that the Peter Parker that we knew, the Spider-Man that we knew going into this was very heavily reliant on Tony Stark's and his tech, he could change the suit and like switch it to kill mode and stuff like that. Yeah. Now you saying, okay, I'm going to divorce myself from Tony and his tech. All right, but how you going to match up to some of these other bigger villains that we have? I think we see the same thing kind of with Black Cap. Like, okay, you don't have the serum, but the movie's not doing a good job of saying, okay, well, why aren't you dead yet? And so,
or like, why can he rise above without the serum? Right? Like, how is he doing that?
What are his other skills? Right.
Right.
And And so for this, it kind of felt like, all right, now we don't need those things anymore. We don't need to have the web shooters, and we, he can act on his own. We see him take out the hand, and very easily, very strong. And so I appreciate that most in a large way, because otherwise he probably dies in this movie, because some of these cameos would lead to his death. Jean Grey could kill him. I know that they're making it seem like, okay, she can't get into his head, but they also thought she could only jump for 30 meters or 30 yards, and she did that too. She outstretched that. They never mentioned her being telekinetic, but by the end she was. So if she wanted to, she could have killed him. Also, the Hulk, he beat the hell out of him. I'm talking about
he low-key ragdolled his ass. Like it was a nice little callback to
Loki.
Ragdoll Loki in Avengers 1. Like yeah. I don't know if he wasn't the spider, if he could have just like withstood that.
Right. I mean, he had his little inhibitor that he made, which I also think is good to kind of lace in here, because the Bruce Banner has been working on these things to keep himself from hulking out in this movie. Jean is like, no, mid Hulk, go about half Hulk. I want half Bruce, half Hulk, still Bruce head. You have your thoughts, but you need to have your big body, because I need you to break into this place to get this VMAX for me. Fast forward to moments later, Jean's out of his head. He's now fully blown Hulk, because why not? The big strong man is like, no, you done pissed me off. I'm irritated. Let's fight. And he got bigger than Peter's ever seen him get before. He's madder, and he beaten I'm talking about anything else would be dust with the way the Hulk just beat the hell out of him. I'm talking about nasty business. I was like, oh, I think we about to lose Peter here. I really I don't know how he's going to survive this one with the Hulk beat him up. So yeah, I think he needed that little extra boost, or this would have been the end of him.
But again, if you didn't have the extra boost, you would just be like, well, I mean, he's Spider-Man, he's fine. Like,
he's Spider-Man, yeah.
And so to talk a little about the Hulk of it all, like, this is also like a what? Because the last time we saw the Hulk, he had made his inhibitor, he stayed in his half Hulk, half Banner form, and he was fine. He even had a son. In case you don't remember, in case you forgot, from the She-Hulk series, we found Bruce Banner. There was this really bizarre mini plot line of Bruce Banner being like, hey Jennifer, I'm just out in space. I gotta find somebody. See you later. And at the very end of the series, Smart Hulk, as they had been calling him, comes back to join Jennifer and Daredevil and all the rest of their friends at a cookout. And he's like, hey, by the way, this is my poorly rendered graphically son. Hey, isn't that cool? And so we don't see the Hulk. Nope. We haven't seen the Hulk ever since then. He now shows up in this movie. He is now just Bruce Banner. He has using an inhibitor to totally take away the Hulk, which is like, okay, why? They never go into that. Like, why did he feel like he wanted to go back down to regular Bruce? He seemed perfectly happy as half Bruce, half Hulk. We don't know. We're not sure. No mention of his son. No mention of what he's been up to in the past however many years. He's Bruce Banner. And the fact that Peter's like, hey, Bruce, it's me, Peter. I'm like, hold on. I'm like running through my memory banks of like, I really don't think Peter and Banner / Hulk have ever really had a significant moment on screen together.
Not on screen.
Not on screen. For them to be like, Bruce, it's me, Peter. I'm like, that doesn't feel earned. I don't know that. I haven't seen that. Just like every other thing, every other relationship in this movie is like, I didn't see that. How am I supposed to feel that? This felt the least real to me. It's like, yes, they had, I'm trying to think, they had the one moment in Infinity War where Hulk and Tony are like met by Spider-Man, but they didn't have any real interaction. You can say, okay, they've probably had some interaction, like maybe they had some interaction at Tony's funeral. They had some interaction
at headquarters.
And some other shenanigans they went through. But I'm like, okay, this doesn't really feel real to me. Where he's like, I'm your friend, Peter. Like, okay, you say so. But the action in that sequence was really, really great, really fantastic. I love how he was like webbing the Hulk to the building, like running through the windows and webbing up all the debris on the Hulk. He probably killed a few people with all that debris that went falling from that building. But whatever. I thought it was a really, really good sequence and a really, really good way to kind of show how someone smaller like a Spider-Man would fare against the Hulk with his like, you know, with his powers. So I really enjoyed that sequence. Like I said, I love the whole Punisher Spider-Man Hulk fight. Like MJ, how are you gonna convince the Punisher to like go help Peter against no, she didn't know it was a Hulk, but I mean, like damn,
Yeah.
like she got him as a whole mess. He's like, I told you to stay there. She's like, but she made me come here. It's like,
Right.
okay, like fine, but the fact that you had that sequence of like Spider-Man dragging the Punisher while he's trying to fight the Hulk, and the Punisher's blasting the Hulk from below was fantastic. That's what comic book nerds and geeks love to see. It's like you know, it's not quite the Cap wielding Mjolnir moment, but it's a pretty good moment.
Yeah, no, I appreciated that. I guess this is a nerdy question, but we're here. Does the Hulk remember Peter, but Bruce doesn't remember Peter because the Hulk is essentially a different person, and the spell didn't work on him because he wasn't. Why didn't the spell work on him? That's the question. But the spell didn't work on the Hulk.
That again is a very vague answer that we're kind of left with. Like, does he remember? Did he have that little glimmer of recognition, or what? Because that is a question that a lot of people have had coming into the movie. Is like, did the spell work on the Hulk because he wasn't really the Hulk, or did it not? Will he remember Peter, or does he not? We don't really get a great answer to that. I think Peter kind of talks the Hulk into kind of like seeing the error of his ways, like trying to appeal to the banner inside of Hulk. But I don't know if the Hulk recognized who Peter was or what. So we don't really get a definitive answer to that. A lot of things leaving this movie we didn't get a definitive answer to, and that's one of them, I think.
Yeah. I remember you know, as in awe I was of the way the Hulk beat the hell out of Spider-Man in this movie. I was also in awe of the way Spider-Man was beating the hell out of other people. He just demolished Scorpion. I'm talking about, I think at one point he grabbed his tail and used it like a whip and just slammed him into a cop car and almost murdered a lady. And just, I'm talking about everybody in this movie is so durable because there's so many people who should have died. Jean probably caught like 16 bodies. Peter definitely caught a few, just chasing after the armored car and all the buildings they're crashing into and all that kind of stuff, fighting the Hulk in that building. People are dying all around, and somehow Scorpion managed to survive that ass whooping. And I am just stunned that happened.
Yeah, Scorpion's another interesting one because in the comics, Scorpion is like kind of stuck in his suit, kind of like similar to the Rhino. It's like they can't really take their suits off. So I guess that wasn't the case here in this movie, where I don't know, because last time we saw Scorpion in the it was the first movie, right? Yeah, we saw the Scorpion. Yeah, where we saw the Scorpion.
No, it's the second one with the Falcon. I mean, with the
Vulture. Vulture was the first.
The Vulture. Okay, then I think that's the last time we saw him.
Yeah, so like we didn't really get a good like from here to there of how Scorpion. Yeah, we saw Scorpion being taken to jail. We don't really know where he got his tech from, where he got his suit from. He's just kind of there, and yeah, Peter's able to whip off his tail and whip his ass, beat his ass. So yeah, that was interesting. And that was interesting because we see the Spider kind of influencing Peter to be a little more ruthless and aggressive. I was just like, I hope we don't have these same exact story beats whenever the Venom symbiote comes into play later down the line in another movie.
Is it coming into play? Like,
it might. We don't know. We're not sure.
I mean, at this point, I can let it rest. I don't need another one. We've done it, but every time we've done Venom, I'm like, I'm good.
Yeah, I mean, Venom has been in so many iterations of the Spider-Man mythos. We've only seen him once in theatrical form, like inhabiting Peter Parker, I'll say. But like, I really hope we don't get that same beat of like, ooh, something's different about Peter now. He's more ruthless and aggressive, because we just saw it when he just taken over by the spider. So it's like, why this? And then maybe do it again later in another movie. So that for me was like, hope we don't have the same kind of runaround again, where we're like, oh no, we're scared of Spider-Man now. But yes, I did appreciate the beat down of the Scorpion. I appreciated Scorpion being Scorpion, although we don't really know how he became Scorpion. Listen, they can't explain everything, or else it'd be a 4 to 5 hour movie. So I will take some rushing of things, but it's like, okay, Scorpion. It was pretty cool to see the Scorpion as a Scorpion. We didn't really get a extended look, but it was good to know that the promise made in the first movie was paid off in this movie.
What did you think about Tremel Tillman as Bill Metzger, the head of the Department of Damage Control?
I thought he did a great job. I think, it was pretty obvious from like as soon as he came on screen, it's like, okay, like he's not
He's
gonna
a
be a
bad
good
guy.
guy. Obviously, he's gonna be a bad guy. I was like, all right, well, we just gotta see how this plays out. We've seen this trope several times. He was basically kind of like the head of ICE almost. It's like, okay,
Basically, yeah.
fine. It was like, all right, well, we'll see how this plays out. Yeah, I thought he did a great job. The character is just kind of there for the most part. It was fine.
He's so anti like mutant and enhanced people in like the comic book lore and stuff like that. It's so interesting that they chose a black man to do it. It's like, okay. But I thought Tremel Tillman was very good. I'm a big fan of him from Severance, where I think that's where his breakout role is for sure. But I thought this was solid. Of the cameos, I really appreciated this one. And another one, we saw the Black Widow appear in this movie, and I did not know that was coming.
Yeah, that was a very like great unspoiled moment. I was like, oh my God, like it's great to go into these movies of something as a surprise. So like that was, I was like, oh my God, that's Yelena Belova. Oh my God. And the little conversation they have where, she's like, you are small potatoes.
Small potatoes. I have very large potatoes. Yeah.
I have very, very large potatoes. I thought that was such a great moment. That's such a great comedic moment where, Peter's like in everything, like stripped down and nothing but his mask and his underwear in the hot tub was really, really great, really fun. I thought this would have been a great moment to like build even more and for Yelena to be like, I've offered you membership into the New Avengers several times, you've turned me down, blah 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 blah. And then by the end of the movie, Peter's like, all right, I'll join the New Avengers, whatever. Because there's this moment at the very end, he's like, I realize now I can't do this alone. Like I thought he was gonna walk into the New Avengers headquarters and be like, hey guys, I'm here. I want to be a new Avenger. I was an Avenger, but now I'll be a new Avenger. I thought that was coming. That didn't pay off. I was like, okay, fine. But he says, he's like, I realize I can't do this alone anymore. And then I don't know. Like, I guess that was the moment leading into him like reintroducing himself to Ned. I was like, okay, fine. But I thought he was going to join the New Avengers. That's the moment I was waiting for when we saw Yelena. I was like, okay, but we didn't get it.
Yeah. So his whole journey to I can't do this by myself. That is the driving, I think, plot of the movie. He tells Frank at one point, I'm trying to be like you, married to work. And Frank's like, what are you talking about? I miss my family. I don't like this. Are you crazy?
Yeah.
Right. I didn't choose this. Are you dumb? And so Peter eventually learns, okay, I do need help. He does try to reveal, well, he doesn't really try to. Eventually MJ is, she's reading the letter that he wrote to her, I love you, blah, blah, blah. I'm Spider-Man. And of course she does not know this man. I thought that scene was so painful. It's just it lingers so long.
Well, and that leading from the moment where Peter thinks the one true kiss has fixed everything. Like,
and it was Jean. Yeah.
That moment was so good. I was like, that's genius. Like,
yeah,
we should have seen it coming, but we didn't because we thought the threat was contained. We don't know how. We don't know how it happened. We don't.
She got stronger. She got stronger. We just had to assume that all of a sudden she got stronger.
I saw somebody be like, that was another one of Jean's deaths. She made that guy fall out of the helicopter so she could jump into somebody else when he crashed on the ground. I was like,
probably.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
I can't write it off. Yeah.
But that moment where like, and we should have like, and looking back on it, like we should have seen it because MJ is scared of the swinging. She doesn't like the swinging, but on the way to that rooftop, she was fine. She didn't scream. She didn't yell. I was like, so we should have seen that moment. Looking at hindsight, we should have seen it. And then they land, and then just like she's like, I think I know you, blah blah blah. Am I forgetting something? They kiss, and she goes, Peter. And he's like, oh my God, like you can see the tears in his eyes. Like I'm waiting for this moment. She's like, bitch, like you.
Jean's such a hoe for that. Oh my God,
Jean, girl, that's ruthless. That was her real villain moment of like you just stuck a dagger in this man's heart. You killed this man right here. And like that I there were several gasps inside the theater, like, oh my God, that's not MJ. It's like, it's Jean. It's like, oh, such a good moment. I don't know why she like Jean let that go. I guess they didn't want to turn her full villain by killing MJ. It's just like, wow, bro, that was insane. So was a great moment in that movie. But yes, and then when she gets the letter, it's like, this didn't do it. I know you. I know you were expecting something else, but
sorry to this man.
It ain't it.
I don't know this man. And she said, I don't love you because I don't know you.
Yeah, it's like to see the dejection, well, not on his face, but in his masked face.
Yeah.
I forgot, was his mask off? Did she take the
Yeah, he
mask
was
off?
still masked. He was
He
still
was still
masked because
masked.
he
It
didn't.
was like,
Yeah.
to see the
No,
dejection.
he wasn't. He wasn't because she said, "Take off your mask. I deserve to be able to talk to you face to face
Yeah,
after
yeah,
reading the letter." So yeah, we saw his whole heartbreak.
yeah. It's like, nope, not doing it. Not a thing here. It's like the letter didn't work. The kiss probably didn't work. She was someone else at the time, but who knows if it would have worked? Probably not. So just like, yeah, the little happy ending you were imagining, that fairy tale, is not coming true. So I thought it was a good choice to make in the movie to be like, nope, it's not that easy. So yeah, I thought that was really great for them to like to push him even further in his dejection of like, yeah, you thought this little letter would work? Nope, didn't.
Nah, he couldn't catch a break when it came to that. Now, I want to circle back to the idea that he can't do this alone, because by the end of it, he does go and rescue. Well, not so much rescue Jean. She didn't really need rescuing. I guess he really went to go rescue the
Metzger, the damage control
Metzger and the damage control people. I guess that's really what his goal was. But in that moment, Jean has already used her mind control powers to hold half of New York hostage, basically. Her sister had told her, like, oh, you can only go about 30 yards or so. And, you can't do everybody at once yet. You got to get stronger. Jean got stronger in this one movie. She got stronger and stronger. Every time we saw her, she was more strong, to the point where in the last scene where her and Peter are still under mind control, she's like, I can read your thoughts now, too. I can get in your head. Earlier, I couldn't. But guess what? I'm Jean, baby. So, yeah.
It was the realization that, her sister was dead. She was looking for this VMAX that her sister has sent her in this moment of like, find VMAX, and it's like she looks up and it's Ventmax with the ENT coverage, like that's VMAX, and she realizes that was the last thing she was looking at when she died. That's what she said. And so that kind of like, it's amazing the weight that the MCU as a whole gives to grief and trauma and all these different feelings of these triggers that they give to these heroes. We saw it, which was another criticism of mine, is just like, we kind of saw this in Thunderbolts, right? Where like, the
depression was the bad guy.
Yeah. And this is like, the villain is talked down by being like, but I'm your friend. I'm here for you. And that quashes the whole, like, I don't love the whole, like, spirit of friendship will save us. Like, I don't love that as a plot device. Now, you can say people are tired of seeing CGI battles and this and that. I kind of want to see some like a not a CGI battle per se. Like, I want to see a new inventive way that the hero solves the problem, figures out how to beat the villain. And for him to be like, but you're my friend. I'm your friend. And that to be like, problem solved. She's no longer a murderous personal rampage. She got a pep talk from Aunt May, which was great. I love seeing Aunt May again. It was a great, even though it was like, it was a talk with Peter that was kind of targeted to Jean Grey. It was just like, okay, fine. But I would love a nice, like, a new way to beat the villain other than just, hey, I'm here for you.
I'm here for you.
People
care about you. You're special, and people like that about you. But people also like that you're you. I said, oh my God, this is so heartwarming. But also, that's it. That's all it took.
That's it. I was like, all right, fine. I guess I'll take it. And so, yes, the way that Jean Grey was dispatched, saved, whatever, was like, okay, fine. I'll live with it.
But it does build that bond between the two of them. He does say, you have me. And I'm thinking, okay, now we got the new buddy cop film between Spider-Man and Jean Grey. I'm not familiar enough with the comics to know if they ever just had like a tag team, but this felt new to me.
So it's long been a question, is Peter Parker / Spider-Man considered a mutant, right? His genes are mutated, not by the X gene, but, via other means. Is he considered a mutant? It's been the subject of comic book runs. It's been the subject of the animated series from back in the day, where I think at that point even Spider-Man was like getting taken over by the spider. For those that watched the '90s cartoon, you remember at one point he had the 8 arms.
Yeah, he was actually a spider at some point.
At that point he was like, hey, am I a mutant? Am I this? Am I that? And so it's always been a question. So they have had interactions definitely in the past and in several different iterations of the comic book and movies and well, not movies, but TV series and stuff like that. So it's been a question. So I am very curious to see if they follow up that relationship because they have a very strong bond now. They have a very strong relationship. He saved her from being a murderous villain, although she did catch some bodies before that, so it's not as if he has her hands clean. But he saved her from being this terrible villain. She literally saved his life. So it's like I would love to see that bond come into play at some point down the road, whether it's the X-Men movie, whether it's another one of Peter's movies, or it's in Doomsday or Secret Wars or whatever. I really hope we see that relationship down the line to show, like, to kind of continue the story of that through line. Yeah. As we're talking about that, the whole Punisher shoots Spider-Man plot
through the telekinesis.
Yeah, interestingly enough, bullets can pierce telekinesis. Great, cool. Through that, it was so interesting because when it happened and Peter's on the ground bleeding, I was like, oh shit, like this happened in the comics. This happened in the Ultimate line. Literally, Ultimate Spider-Man, which if you're not aware, Ultimate Spider-Man was like in the early 2000s, kind of an updated, refreshed take on the MCU heroes. It was a big comic line that they've unfortunately let kind of like go to shit. But back in the day, the Ultimates brought us Black Nick Fury. That's how we got That's how we got Sam Jackson as Nick Fury. So it was a huge line back in the day. The way that they killed Ultimate Spider-Man, which led into Miles Morales, is that the Punisher shot Spider-Man. Like, and that combined with Spider-Man trying to fight the Green Goblin, the Sinister Six, with a bullet wound in him, is what led to his death in that comics line, which led to the introduction of Miles Morales. So I was like, don't tell me. Do not tell me right now. Like I was like, no. If that happened, I would have heard about it already.
I would have known. That would have leaked. Yeah,
that would have leaked. That would from the Thursday showings. That would have leaked. There's no way I wouldn't know if this was the death of Spider-Man and the introduction of Miles Morales. I would have known that. So I was like, no, he's not going to die here. And the fact that Jean Grey, through I don't know, whatever, keeps him alive through
put him like in a psychic coma.
I guess I was like, fine, whatever.
We've seen her do that before.
Yeah, sure. And like Frank brings him into the hospital, which is like, now why is a Punisher allowed to just come in here and stay? Like this man is probably a wanted fugitive. This man has killed numerous people. Why is he just allowed to chill in Spider-Man's hospital room and just be like, I'm just here chilling? I was like, okay, we'll get rid of that, whatever. So that was a very interesting way to kind of end that story of like, Punisher just shot Spider-Man, like, and he's now bleeding out. Is he about to die? That was like such a bizarre and just abrupt way to kind of get out of that storyline. It's like Jean took off. She's gone. She's probably on her way to Westchester to go to the X-Men, the X-Men Academy or whatever Xavier's school is going to be called. If it is Xavier, who even freaking knows anymore? The MCU takes so many liberties with so many things. Who knows what the overall look and makeup of the X-Men is going to be? We have no idea. But yeah, just the way to end that was interesting, in the way that they kind of ended the overall story of like, Spider-Man's been shot. We don't know if he's going to make it. There are people outside of his hospital room clamoring for him, screaming for him. They're like, oh my God, Spider-Man, we hope you're okay, blah, 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 blah. I appreciated the way it ended with a little bit of comedy with, Frank putting on the mask and the glove, like the way the Punisher does, like, I'm Spider-Man, yeah. So like, that was a really heartfelt, touching moment, and with a little bit of comedy where Peter again just kind of sees like the work he's done has paid off. The people love him, but he's still left a little incomplete. Just like I'm still missing that companionship, that friendship. And
right.
It was a great way to end the overall story and to lead into him and Ned reconnecting? ?
Well, let's talk about it. So yeah, let's say he's building these companions. He has Jean now to some extent. We don't know what that means, but they see each other. They look like they're on good terms. Frank, of course, him and Frank have a great friendship, almost like a brotherhood throughout this movie. So you have to imagine that they're good. Frank does owe him again now because Frank almost killed him. So we're gonna chalk that one up. But of course, he still needs to go talk to Ned now. He tried MJ already, and she's like, this ain't working. He goes in Spider-Man version, in full costume, and talks to Ned at some point, and they are just hitting it off. It's like picking up like they never left off, right? And so that was cool. But MJ is like, you need to tell him who you are. Just tell him the whole story that you are a guy named Peter that you used to know. Our memories got wiped. Just be open and honest about it. Because what Ned ain't gonna trip. What is Ned gonna do? Really?
You already know he's not. You've already been through this. You know Ned's gonna keep a secret.
Ned's fine. And even if he doesn't, it's Ned. He don't know nobody. Like, who's he gonna tell? And so you and Peter, you're a nobody. Nobody knows you. So even if everybody knew your identity, it still wouldn't matter. It's not like you go to work every day. So
that's a question I would love to. Does he have a social security number? Like, how will he get a job? Like,
he does not exist. And so for him to be walking around like a faceless man, like, yeah, go tell him. So eventually he does go to Ned. And he's like, oh yeah. He goes fully out of costume. Hey, it's me. I'm Peter. And Ned obviously knows his name is Peter because they had that conversation, him and MJ, while he was in costume. So he's picked up on that. And then they do the secret handshake. The secret handshake should not work because Ned does not remember Peter. So why would he remember the secret handshake that he does with Peter? But he does the secret handshake. And the movie basically ends with us questioning, does Ned now remember him completely? Because he's like, Peter, that's you. But also, if he does, why? Why now?
Yeah.
Why of all the things did this happen?
That's another like a thread they left dangling of like just the vagueness of it. Does he remember? Does he not? And the way that he delivers the line, because they do the, I guess, because there's so many theories running around about this. It's like the muscle memory from Ned doing the handshake.
Stop it.
Is that enough for him to trigger his memory coming back? Or is the fact that Peter goes and is like, hey, what's up? I'm Peter. And then they do the handshake and then it goes, Peter. Is it Peter or Peter? I remember you. I remember everything. Or is it Peter? You're Spider-Man because I know.
Right.
I know
oh my God.
Is Peter. Oh my God. You're
right.
The guy.
I just put two and two together. Right. Yeah. Exactly.
But I don't remember anything else. But I know that you're the guy in the suit. So it's like we're left wondering which is it, and also we're left wondering, and there's more theories about this too. Does MJ remember now? Because MJ. At the end of the movie, where we see all the different people in the different places, she is on the school roof holding the Black Dahlia necklace that Peter gave her in Spider-Man 2 in Far From Home. So it's like, does she remember? And a lot of people are going back to the moment where Jean has everybody frozen, right? She has everybody frozen. We see MJ and Ned in their apartment, and we see a tear coming down MJ's face. So it's like, did Jean do Peter a favor and like re-trigger MJ's memories while she had her in this like telekinetic hold? Did she do that? Did she not? Does MJ remember now? We don't know. We're not sure. And people are pointing to a moment in the original X-Men trilogy where Jean Grey is like has her hands on Wolverine's head. She's like, I could pull some memories, but just from this certain time or whatever. So people are like, there's a precedent where Jean can pull people's memories and reinsert them or whatever. So it's like, does MJ know? And again, it's just this frustratingly annoying thing of like, tell us, like, just speak it out. Like, don't make me guess. Don't make me wonder, because I'm not going to see these people again for another 4 or 5 years. I would like to know if Peter has his friends back for real, or is this like, it's like, no, they don't. We just like, they kind of know.
Start a new friendship.
We don't know. Yeah, exactly. So it's like, I wish we could have gotten a definitive answer on those things. But yeah, I don't know. What is it? Does Ned know him? Does he just realize that he is Spider-Man and they're going to start the friendship over again? What is it?
He had to know something because he did remember that handshake. I don't think something slipped through there. It slipped through the cracks.
And if that did trigger it, that's whack. That's like,
I don't think, and that's what I'm saying. It couldn't have triggered it, right? It had to have been like something else triggered it for the handshake to work, because I don't think you get halfway through a handshake and be like, wait a minute, I remembered the handshake. It was like, it's a handshake, y'all. Stop playing.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like, if that is what triggered it, it's like, that's so annoying. That's so stupid. But yeah. So in my head canon, I think he may have just realized that this guy is in front of me as Spider-Man, and he's cool. So I guess we're going to be friends now. My
new Spider-Man friend, right?
Yeah, maybe at the start of the next movie, you'll be like, yeah, it's crazy that you told me that that we were best friends, and we're best friends now. So I guess that's true.
Right.
I guess it's right. And I guess all will be fixed or whatever. And maybe MJ does know him, maybe she doesn't. But I kind of hoped that we would leave this with Peter and MJ broken up, like still broken up, like no hope for reconciliation. Because I'm ready for Peter to move on to like a Black Cat, maybe.
Yeah.
For the people listening to this,
Yeah, they don't know. Some people don't know. Peter Parker got around. Like him and Wolverine, probably the most tossed up individuals in like the comic book history. I mean,
it's probably Hawkeye.
Bad.
Hawkeye might be number one. Hawkeye,
right.
Several different super women in his comics run.
Yeah, Spider-Man was getting passed around for a while. And so, yeah, I could definitely see him moving on from MJ and going somewhere else. I really thought that our post-credit scene would give us more information. But Jason, please explain to me why I waited to the end of this movie to get the post-credit scene.
Yeah, again, this is another kind of frustrating moment here where, everyone's waiting for the post-credit scene. Where everyone knows. The people that get up and start like, hey, sit down.
Hey, sit down for your own good.
It's not done.
Nobody's leaving.
And there have been some complete duds of post-credit scenes in Marvel's past, for sure, no doubt.
You leave Howard the Duck out of this.
Exactly. One even in a Spider-Man movie where, yes, Cap's in it, but it's just like a PSA from Cap. It's like, okay, what did I stay here for that for? So this one is, we see Ned's tracking app, because as we saw from the movie, Ned has developed an app to follow Spider-Man sightings wherever he is. So we see it, beep, beep, here's where Spider-Man is. And then we say, new something detected. And then we go off into from where Spider-Man is in New York. We pan over, we pan. It does a quick change into outer space, just in the randomness of space. And then another spider icon pops up, like boop. Here's where Spider-Man is. Now, the question is, what Spider-Man is this? Is this our Spider-Man? Is it another Spider-Man? Did our Spider-Man translocate into space? Is that what this is? We don't really know. There are a lot of theories floating around. Let's talk about some of the theories. One of the theories is that this is our Spider-Man. We've been following this whole movie. It's just he was, relocated from Earth to space for whatever will be Doomsday / Secret Wars. That's one theory. I don't think it's the strongest theory out there, because notably the little icon in the beginning does not leave. It does not disappear. It stays where it was, and then we move into a new pop-up of the Spider-Man icon. Okay, so there's
two of them.
Yeah, so that's the theory. There's two of them. So who's the other Spider-Man? A lot of people are saying, this Miles Morales, is he here? We know.
Why would he be in outer space?
Well, we know that in Doomsday, part of the whole thing is incursions, where different universes come into contact with other universes. And in order to fix this, we have to either blow up one of the universes to stop the crashing of the universe from happening, or figure something else out. We'll see in Doomsday, whatever that is. Is this an incursion happening? And is Miles Morales popping up into our this isn't 616, but whatever the main universe in this MCU is called. Now that's kind of what happened in the comics. In the comics, the result of Secret Wars, like one of the results, is like Miles Morales all of a sudden has always been in the regular universe. It's now accepted as reality that Miles Morales is part of this regular universe. He didn't originate in the Ultimate Universe. He came to this universe. And so he is now a resident of that universe. So that's another theory of like, okay, maybe that's what's happening here. Another theory is kind of similar to that, where a lot of people have been rumoring about the fact that Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man will be in Doomsday, and he will be a part of the proceedings. There have been a lot of clips floating around of the trailer. Like, they're obviously painted something out here. There's obviously somebody is here, and they took him out of the thing, similar to what they did in Spider-Man No Way Home, where it's like, that isn't just Spider-Man fighting these three villains. It's three other people. There's two other Spider-Mans there with them. So that's a lot of scuttlebutt that Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man is going to be part of the Doomsday festivities. And that is the spider icon that we see in outer space. It's him coming back into our universe, doing whatever it is doing in space. Those are the three main theories floating around.
Can I get the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man at least? I mean, damn. I just felt like Andrew did his thing in the last one, and he just acting circles around these two individuals, especially Toby. Toby's in last place. And so to bring back Toby, I get it. If the fans love it, the nostalgia is there. But we just did it. We got to do it again.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever said this on this podcast, but the Tobey Maguire Peter Parker is my least favorite Peter Parker.
Same.
It was just so wooden and dull to me. Like, I never got the appeal. I think people loved it and accepted it because it was our very first Spider-Man. People like, I'll take what I can get. This is my only one. For my money, the Andrew Garfield Peter Parker is the best Peter Parker. Tom Holland is a close second. Tobey Maguire is a very distant third for me. So it is what it is, whatever. That's the rumor going around that it could be Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, which fine, whatever. And again, like you said, we saw this already. Do we need to see it again?
We just saw this.
But in the movie where we're giving like all the universes a shot, I'll take it. Fine, whatever. And if that's the only Spider-Man we get in Doomsday, I think I'll accept that because I don't need the two Peters to interact again. If we just had Tobey Maguire, Peter Parker interacting with different people, that would be interesting, at least, in that he's interacting with different universes. That would be interesting. But yeah, so that's the scuttlebutt about the post-credit scene. A lot of people were like, you could have skipped that and been told about it, and you would have had experience, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. I will say, when I mentioned the like taking out of characters in different trailers, the fact that because before this movie came out, they're like, Daredevil is obviously in this movie. Obviously. Look at this picture of Spider-Man fighting the Hand. Obviously, they're just like they did in the No Way Home. Like, obviously, there's two Spider-Man there. People are like, obviously, this is not Spider-Man fighting the Hand. There's the Hulk up above him, probably, and there's Daredevil under him, probably, right? Daredevil's got Punisher's in this, which is right. Daredevil's buddy. He's fighting the Hand. Why else would they bring the Hand into this movie if Daredevil, the Hand's main villain, wasn't in this movie? Which, after the movie, I'm asking the same question. Why the fuck was the Hand here?
Because it looked cool.
It served real no purpose. I was like, the Hand has such a history in this universe from the Netflix shows, and then just to kind of plop them in here as like henchmen of Metzger felt very superfluous. I was like, this could have been anything and anybody. You didn't need to bring the Hand into this. And so people were like, obviously, the Daredevil's a Hand's enemy. Like, obviously, he's going to be in it. They're in a prison. When's the last time we saw Daredevil? He was going to prison. So obviously, Daredevil's going to be in this movie helping Spider-Man. Obviously. Marvel said, come here. Fuck you. Fuck you and fuck your Daredevil wishes in your dreams. He's not in this movie. It's just like, wow. They had the lady from Daredevil present Peter Parker the key to the city, who, from what we remember from the end of Daredevil season, whatever, it's Born Again season 2, is now probably the interim mayor. So she's the one that presented Spider-Man the key to the city as the interim mayor. She was a big part of Daredevil Born Again season 2. It's just like, obviously, Daredevil's going to be this movie. I was like, nope. Joke's on you. Nope.
Joke's on you. You can't have everything you want.
Nope. It's just something relished, making us think that Daredevil was in this movie, and it's like, nope. Like,
nobody told y'all to investigate these movies the way we do. Nobody did. Nobody told y'all that. There have been so many YouTube videos. They got hundreds of thousands of views that was just dead ass wrong over the last few months. They did not tell you to do that. You chose to do that. Okay. And so, and it's part of the journey. It's part of what we do as fans of the MCU, comic book fans, superhero fans, whatever the case may be. We're trying to connect these dots. Okay. And so I don't really blame them. I blame us for being addicted to this kind of feeling of feeling like, oh yeah, we obviously know what's coming up because we've done the research, and clearly we be wrong sometimes. Jason, is there anything else from the movie you want to highlight before we wrap up?
I'm sure I forgot something, and people in the comments will tell me, you forgot to talk about this, you forgot to talk about that.
There was a lot in the movie, okay? We just watched it one. I only watched it one time, Jason. I don't know how many times you watched it.
I've only watched it once about 3 or 4 days ago, so it's not fresh in my mind.
It's not fresh.
So forgive me if we forgot anything.
And by the time they hearing this, it'll be a week. Since the last time I watched it. So there you go.
Forgive us. I think we hit the biggest parts of it. So like I said before, it was a very, very, very good movie. I like what's your I'll give my rankings of the Tom Holland movies.
Ooh, okay, go ahead.
I'll say No Way Home for me is at the top. I just don't think you can beat the spectacle of No Way Home, where we had these different universe Spider-Man coming together, and it worked. It wasn't bad. You had the different universe villains coming together, which was fun. It was cool. It was exciting. It was just this build up of this moment. I think part of what also got the build up of this movie was like, that worked so well. This is obviously going to work just as well. For me, it did. I'll put No Way Home at the very top.
Okay.
I think I'll put Homecoming second, which was the first movie. I just felt like it was a great introduction to this new version of Spider-Man. Like the fact that like the whole mixing and intermingling with the villain and how they portrayed that. The Vulture was a great villain. He was a threatening, menacing villain. Was great. Loved that. And then I'll put this movie in third. Okay, it's not a bad movie. It's the fact that the first two movies are really great movies, in my opinion, and this one slightly under that. Not saying it's a bad movie at all. Great movie, very very good movie. Not going to put great on it. And then obviously coming in last is Far From Home, which just felt like a sophomore slump of a movie. It was kind of like, yeah, it was all right. It wasn't like
it's a bridge movie.
Yeah, it's like our heroes are in a foreign land. Isn't that crazy? It's just like, okay, didn't blow me out of the water. So that's my ranking. What are you feeling about where you're putting this movie into the oeuvre of Spider-Man movies?
My rank is very different than yours. Okay, because I'm a Homecoming guy. Love the first movie. I feel like that to me solidified Tom as like, okay, you can be Spider-Man, right? Because we had seen Toby do it, and everybody latched on to Toby. People didn't latch on to Andrew, even though I thought he did a better job. But people didn't latch on to it the way it was. So I was like, okay, Tom, they might not like you because you knew, and we still living in the past. But I thought he really solidified his spot as Spider-Man then. So I was like, okay, cool. I love Homecoming. And also Michael Keaton's in that movie. And so, what are you going to do?
It's got Tony Stark in it. I mean, listen.
It's got, listen, it's a good one. It was a good one. Second, I'll go this. Because I think this is a close, this and to me, I'll just go ahead and jump to the end. The last one, whatever it was called, the one with the No Way Home, last place for me. Wow. I just feel like it's, I didn't like the multiverse Spider-Man thing. I felt it was too fan servicey. Like, I get it. People want to see Toby back, but like, did we have to do that? I just didn't like it. I thought it was a little over the top personally. I don't love, just not my favorite plot line to do. I kind of like Marissa Tomei just in general. And so, and then you're going to bring her back in every other movie just so she could be a flashback or like a conscious. You might as well just love her in the movie. So I didn't really love that. And then I think this one and number 2 are kind of like interchangeable for me. I think they're both good, but like, I'm only rushing back to go watch the first one. I've seen all of these multiple times except for this one and the last one because the last one I was like, I don't need to see it again.
See, yeah, I think as terms like, I think as you're ranking these, like what you said, like multiple viewings, like how likely are you to view this multiple times? I don't think I'll really go. I might go back to see this again in the theaters, maybe. I'm not sure if I can find the time, which I probably can't, but it's not a priority for me. No Way Home, I made a priority to see several times in the theater and then watched it again when it came out, on Disney Plus or whatever. I watched it to prepare for this movie. And so it was like, I'm watching it multiple times. I'm enjoying myself every time. I don't know if I'm going back to watch this again. I might go see it again in the theaters to kind of really cement my thoughts about it and to refresh myself, but I'm not rushing back to see it.
Okay, well, maybe the listeners of this podcast will. Maybe they'll go back and try to catch some things that we missed. If we missed anything or got anything wrong, let us know in the comments right on our YouTube page, youtube.com/@recapkickback. If you haven't already subscribed to that YouTube page, go do that because we're creeping up on 3,000 subscribers. Yay. So go join that group. If you're listening to this and you haven't already subscribed, what are you waiting for? If you only listen to the podcast feed, go subscribe to that, recapkickback.com/subscribe and join our little community here where we talk about Marvel movies, we talk about TV shows, other things as well, or whatever I just feel like talking about sometimes. And I have all these great guests to come on and share their expertise, like Jason Reed. So Jason, thank you so much for joining me, for giving us the rundown of all your Spider-Man history and all your good takes about this movie.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me on. I always love coming here and chopping up with you about these Marvel antics and just giving my thoughts. I don't have a lot of outlets to give my thoughts about nerddom, so I appreciate being able to come on this and spew my thoughts.
I'm glad you said that because I really want to have you back on to talk about X-Men 97 because in my mind, that's the best X-Men thing we've ever had, and I want to talk about it. So yeah. I am a big fan of that, and I am dying to hear your opinion. And so maybe we can bring that once that season ends, I think next week. I don't think there's that many episodes left, and so we're creeping up on the finale of that, and then once that's done we'll try to do a recap of that. But Jason, until then, can you tell everybody where they can find you and what you're working on?
Yeah, right now I'm in the thick of Mess season with Married at First Sight season 20. Me and Asia Welch are talking about it over on the Rob Has Podcast Network on the Love at First Sight feed. So go and check that out. Married at First Sight is a show where it's exactly how it sounds. They meet at the altar, they get married, and they figure out if they can make it work or not. We're in a 6-week experiment, as they call it, to see if they decide to stay together or try to get divorced. It's a mess. It's crazy. It's terrible. It's wild. So check us out talking about that. You can also catch me on The Good Pod, where me and my friend Marissa Garza recap the show The Good Wife. That's kind of a little passion project. That floats your boat or anything, come on over, check it out. That's where you can find me.
All right. And then, of course, you can find me here on Recap Kickback. That's recapkickback.com, youtube.com/@recapkickback. Yeah, tune in for other Recap Kickback coverage. Mari and I just wrapped, are about to wrap our House of the Dragon season 3 coverage. So check that out. We had B and Camille AF on as a guest last week, and so me and her are going to link up and try to do some more stuff. We also have Chantel and I covering the Flavor of Love cinematic universe every Sunday live on YouTube. We've now made our way to Rock of Love. Chantel has never seen any of these shows, and so it's been a blast watching her go through that journey. And then Gia and 8 Ball Bangers and I are trying to get back together and do a little project to follow up on something we did last year. If you know, you know. So tune in, subscribe, click like, and all that good stuff, and we will catch y'all next time. Peace.
I've been trapped behind Swamp Maria, isolated like it's North Korea. Smaller city with some bigger dreams. The wall is cracked, I'm looking in between it. The world is yours, but man, I gotta see it. They say it's hard, but man, I gotta see it. The air I'm breathing can't feel my chest. Wait on life, I wanna hold my breath. I'ma get in my goddamn self.